Tapped in exclusive. We are the internet, bitch.
Welcome. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining us on Tapped In. No,
NPR.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, now, yeah, we're on the NPR of music. Anyway, so thanks for joining us on Tapped In. This is the Tapped In podcast. We got a very special episode for everyone. If you follow Tapped In, you already know Bluey. Bluey's here. Bluey,
what's good? What's good, people?
Producer. We got JG.
What's up?
Beats ain't free.
Let 'em
Shout
know.
out. And we got Juju.
Holla at your boy.
And we're all here today to talk. We're doing a little Tapped In producer series. We got two producers here, obviously, that we have had on the show before. They happen just coincidentally to be homies, but they've collabed, they've produced, and I just wanted to get a little deeper into that shit. So we've been in here drinking, smoking, having fun, obviously.
Yes, sir.
As it probably is in the studio.
And also, it is JG's birthday.
Oh, shout
Happy
out
birthday,
JG.
Happy
JG.
birthday. My
Everybody
God.
go,
Happy
uh,
birthday.
Happy
Slide in his
D-Day.
DMs.
Slide in his DMs.
Or don't.
Yeah. Or
Send-
don't. Yeah.
Send foot pics.
Yeah, foot pics.
Only foot pics.
Yeah.
Some base god shit.
That actually leads me to a good producer question. Do you guys produce fucked up? Like,
I'll produce fucked up.
is it better? Is it kind of like? Do you think it's? Because you know how people
It
perform.
depends.
It depends.
It depends on what level
The thing
you're
is,
at. You know, like
I think the best is always. I mean, you know, for me personally, I know like if I do some shit super fucked up, I'll listen back and I always have to be like, okay, let me fix a couple things.
Really?
yeah. It's like
Okay.
while you're doing it, all
Yeah.
fucked up, you're like, oh, this is the hardest shit I ever made.
But at the same time, it's
So
a
the
vibe.
next day,
Like, if you're catching the vibe and that's the vibe at the moment, and you know
Yeah.
you're like in your element and you know you're turning
Yeah.
it up, like fuck it, it is what it is.
Yeah, I
feel
try to
like
I try
that's
to do it
important.
sober though more like
You
that's
try
like-
to produce sober
Yeah,
more.
man, I feel like I get better ideas.
Is that because you
way.
just feel like it's you're gonna remember to save it and it's?
I mean, not even like that.
Like, how
that
do
so
you-
much is just like I don't know. I feel like going in with a clear head.
Okay.
I have ideas that like I wouldn't have. You know, sometimes I feel like if you're fucked up, you're gonna fall back into like something you've already done or just like
Yeah.
get comfortable. So
All I know is one time I had this session, and I got super hurt in it. Yeah, and then I remember I didn't even remember it, and I was like, yeah, it was just trash. I was like, yo, is any of that usable? And he's like, nah.
He's like,
I had like a sore throat when I woke up. I was like doing some songwriting shit.
Oh no.
I like didn't remember shit. I had a sore throat. I was like, what the fuck is going on? He's like, nah, it's usable.
No good.
Do you guys?
better luck next time, huh?
Yeah.
Do you prefer? I'll ask Bluey and then I'm ask JG the same question.
Mhm.
So Bluey, do you prefer to produce alone, or do you actually like being around people?
I don't know. It depends. Like, cause sometimes you'll feel lonely and you want to be with homies and shit. Sometimes, to be real, I don't know. Like, sometimes I want to be alone. Yeah, for sure. If I'm working on like something personal that I would put out, that like I would release as with my name under it, I've definitely like if I'm getting out the idea, like the most like 100% try all the ideas, not scared, is if I'm alone. Because even if you're with a homie that you're
Yeah.
really close with, you always
Still, bro.
you might
Still.
you might not try this one thing, or you know what I'm saying, like because
You're just thinking too
you're
much
just-
about it.
yeah,
You
yeah.
don't think about it.
You're-
That's for me too. Like I mean,
Yeah.
with writing and doing demos and stuff, I much prefer to be alone. When it's
alone. Yeah.
producing and making beats, like whatnot, like it's cool to do that with friends.
Yeah.
But it's like it depends on like who it's with. You know, there's like certain people that are much easier to work with and certain
Right.
people that aren't. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, I like making
True.
beats with other
That's
people.
Yeah. And I always feel like if I'm making some shit and fucking, sometimes it's cool because, you know, someone might hear something that you don't hear and it becomes something completely different. Like,
Right.
I don't know. It's just changing one of the variables,
Right.
which is fire.
So you're saying, JG, it's in terms of that question, you do kind of prefer to be alone?
Definitely when it comes to writing, for sure. When
Okay.
writing and doing demos, just like he said, it's like there's this like even like with your best friends, there's still this like you know you're thinking about someone else is here. Whereas if you're by yourself, you're not afraid to fuck
Yeah,
up. You're not
you're
afraid.
gonna
You're
be-
just gonna
You're
go
gonna
all
take
the way.
risks
Exactly.
you might not take otherwise.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. That makes sense.
Get in like a vulnerable space. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Open
Yeah.
up, really get that fire. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Especially because my voice
Space.
fucking sucks.
Yeah.
So like,
I'm trying to become a
I
good
want them to-
disagree with
hard.
that.
I want them
Yeah.
to only hear once the processing is on it. They're gonna be listening to me yelling and sound like shit out there. I don't know, man.
Yeah, man.
That's fucking great. Okay, so in terms of production, you're producing alone. Do you feel like, because you did say like, okay, if you're producing in front of people, you might take less risks than when you're producing alone. Do you feel like you produce different songs when you're in a group vibe? Like, if you're around a bunch of people, do you make some shit that's like hype just because there's energy?
Well, no, I think the thing is, like, it's always going to be, if, you know, someone else is, if you're going to work on a song with someone else, whoever that is, they're going to have, like, a lot of impact on the song. Because you want to make something that everyone in the room likes. Right. You know, so even if there's someone in the back that's like, oh, this sounds a little corny, like, you don't want you want everyone to fuck with it.
You don't want
you know
one dude saying it's corny.
Because the thing is, it's possible. You can have it still be you and still be dope and have everyone fuck with it. It's possible.
For sure.
So it's like, if that's an option, you don't want to, you know, cut any corners. You're trying to make the dopest shit. So I'm going to try to, you know, adjust to that. If someone says some shit, I'm going to listen to it and be like, okay, if one person feels like that, multiple people could feel like
yeah.
If like, you know, someone's like, the way you said fucking car right there, it's like a little whack. Like, I mean, that's like, you know, you probably feel that. You obviously, unless you're fucking lying, like, why would you lie about that? It probably sounds a little weird.
Yeah, but I guess that's the objective, is to make everybody fuck with it, right?
Yeah, that's the objective. Yeah.
Right.
But also knowing you can't please everyone.
Right.
You know what I mean?
As universal as possible.
Right.
While still being true to yourself.
Right.
It's tough, man.
At the end of the day, if you fuck with it and you know, because that's what you're selling. You're selling your taste.
Yeah.
You know, like, you're like, this is tight. I'm gonna show
your
you know
signature.
So like, if you fuck with it, I feel like you gotta trust your own taste.
Do you ever like sometimes make a joint, you're like, they might not fuck with it the first time, but on this third listen, they're gonna understand this shit, like some off the wall shit?
100%. Like,
him especially. He makes some weird shit.
Because like, I
in a good way.
I'm always
experimental,
making some weird shit, like, some, you know, because someone will play some reggae song, I'm like, oh shit, I'm gotta make some reggae vibes. Someone will play, you know, then I'll believe with JG, play me some crazy slapping trap shit, and I'm like, damn, I gotta make some shit for the club.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll link with someone, I'll listen, someone will show me some indie band, I'm like, oh, I gotta make some indie band type shit. Like, it just kind of, you know, whatever you're inspired by on that day. Right. And those are kind of find their ways into the work.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Is it, I mean, I'm almost like afraid to even ask this because I know you don't want to like pigeonhole yourself, but is there a favorite kind of beat? Like, do you guys like to produce like to a certain genre more than anything?
Well, for me personally, I like melodic stuff. Like, I like stuff that has melody, stuff that's like, you know,
some vibey type shit.
Yeah, I like
I
like some vibey shit that's gonna kind of, you know, I like the just like vibes and fucking melody. I'm a big fan of melody and big fan of just like making a mood, you know, like that shit's fire.
I fuck with that. And what about you?
I mean, I'd say like for me, like what I grew up on was trap music.
Right.
I like making trap beats. I know that, like, you know, people will say whatever they want about it, but that's my favorite type of beat to make. And like he said,
that's probably the shit I listen to the most.
It doesn't 100%. Have to, like, it can still be melodic, is like what he's talking about, having the melody, but just like having that, like, you know, that hit, bro, the smash.
No, that's
what makes me, I'm sitting there, like, you start doing the 808 or something, you start actually feeling it. You're like, okay, like I like with it.
Like, bro, like even before we were playing this, like fucking we were listening, even before we started filming.
Dude,
like fucking Coding Crazy by Future. Like, that song is so vibey, but obviously it's a trap song and that shit slaps. It's fucking fire.
Oh god. Yeah.
It's fucking fire.
That's like some Percocet and strippers. Like,
that's my favorite shit, bro.
Fire.
That's my favorite shit. I love that song.
Like, there's a way to encompass all your, like, okay, I want it to have this kind of bounce, like this trap bounce. I want it to fucking, but I want it to also like have some sort of emotion to it.
Yeah, you know, that's what's cool.
There's,
like,
there's a way to fucking do all that. So
that makes sense. Would you be like, I know, because speaking of Future, you know, Future's done projects where he's had one producer, you know, like through the whole thing.
Right, yeah.
Would you ever be open? Like, have you guys done that with people where you're like, all right, I'll hold your hand and walk through an entire album with you?
I would love to do that.
You want to do that?
I would love to do that.
I would love to do it too.
Key and Kenny Beats did one. 777.
That was good.
Which is great.
Yeah,
I think it's cool when it's like you get this one moment of time, or it's like a time capsule. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then all of it naturally is gonna stick together. And then over the course of while you're doing it, there's gonna be some bond that forms. Like, I think, and there's gonna be some development, because when you make a song, the next day you're like, okay, you listen to the song, you analyze, you're like, what do I like, what do I don't like, and then you implement that the next time you get in. So by the end of the project, it's like, you know, there's some progression.
And then especially, like you said, build a bond with people, you know, especially when you're doing a project with somebody and they cool as fuck and y'all can vibe out. That makes the project so much better, because it's like working with your homie.
Sure.
It becomes,
that shit translates to the fucking record.
It becomes more than a session.
Yeah, exactly.
It becomes more than a session, and more like kicking in with my homie. Like, I'm about to go in and make some fire today. You feel me? Like,
I mean, and you can hear it too. Like, when you hear those projects, they're 100%. Cohesive. It's like it's just those two people, and they're getting out what they wanted to do. I like it.
Well, that's kind of what I was saying. Is it's like, I think it's interesting because, you know, more often than not, you guys might kick out a beat and then someone picks it up and writes to it. you know. But if someone comes to you with lyrics, it's kind of weird.
Well,
right?
I love that, though.
You know, like,
I love when someone sends me an acapella and asks me to like produce around it. That's
Okay.
I love that.
You
I
like
love that
too.
yeah.
Like, oh, I
Because,
gotta give.
because you can pull different things. You put all of a sudden you put these one chords, you put some different chords that also work, and it's like a whole different vibe, a whole different energy.
I
No,
got a
for
question.
sure.
So how would you set something up like that? What's your process? And like, you know, you guys go back and forth, but like, do you do like the drums, or do you add
It's
the
always
melody,
different.
or like?
If I'm doing a song where like I know specifically kind of where I'm trying to go, like say I was trying to make some City Girls type shit.
Right.
I might start with the drums first in that
Right.
case, because
Right.
I already know the bounce
It's a
I
bounce,
want.
yeah.
Like I know for a fact, no matter what I do, I know what the drums are gonna sound like.
Right.
So I might start with the drums first because I want to have those drums sound good by themselves. I don't want to lean on the thing. So
Right.
if I'm gonna make some City Girl shit, I might try to make some club shit. Start with the drums. But a lot of times, me personally, I start not with that because I'll just want to like, because I'll do a lot of writing too. So I'll like just write around some chords and add some drums later and shit.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
How about you, John?
I mean, I my general like structure is I'll start with the melody and then add drums and then bass after. But that's like he said, like that's kind of when I'm going in I'm just gonna make a beat. I'm not like, oh, there's
Without
not this
anything.
person in mind or
Right.
whatever it is. But like he said, bro, when you have
Also
an
the
agenda, then
Right.
like sometimes it's easier to start with something that you like. I know that this is how this is gonna sound for this type of beat, so I'm gonna
Right.
just do these drums.
And
right?
also, it's like if we're going in to do drums, it's like, you know, typically there's the kind of like the blueprint where it's like, okay, you know, you're gonna have like the clap here, so it's like,
Right.
so it's kind of less boring if we're like, I want to go in and start some shit that could be something, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then I know I'm gonna add that clap and that fucking.
Yeah, we know where that's gonna go.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like, let's put some.
So it's like, yeah.
some weird shit.
Fire.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. I mean, I guess in addition to getting acapellas and then making shit on your own, like, do you feel like you like when you have the artist in the room?
Oh, having
Like,
the artist
is
in
that
the room is
crucial?
Oh,
way,
yeah.
way. That's definitely the preference.
Yeah.
If I have the artist in the room, it's the best because it's like you can talk to the artist, because a lot of times these A&Rs and like these random people, it's like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, who knows what the artist really wants? Like, you never
Right.
know until you might play some shit and you never know what they're gonna like vibe with.
Yeah, you
what's
never
gonna
know. The
connect.
A&R could give you the incorrect reference. Like, oh, I
Yeah.
want a beat,
Also,
a
yeah.
beat like this, and then you send a bunch of the wrong beats. Like,
And
it's happened to me many times because
Wow.
they'll say, I want a Drake type this,
Yeah.
and then the artist doesn't want that, so
yeah.
I'm sending all those, and then nothing
Yeah, sometimes
happens. You know,
the,
like,
sometimes the label, the industry, they want them to be on a certain thing, but that day, I mean, it's you know, like, it all matters about like where you're at that time and place when you interact. Like if I'm
Right.
if
They'll get
someone
on
bumps
shit,
into me
like-
and I'm like, you know, I was just listening, like that's what I'm on. I'm trying to make this type of shit. Like you use and
Yeah.
artist relationships, that's where it's at. Like if you
Mhm.
can, you know, have a session, you become close with someone after that. Like that's so valuable.
Right.
You don't
Yeah.
really need a label because
No third
For
party.
sure, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
direct contact.
yeah, just no middleman.
yeah, and
more
it's easier to
grassroots.
get an artist outside of their comfort zone when you're sitting there. They'll get on artists will get on beats that they would have never got on
Yeah.
if you just send it to them when you're in the room with them and you're actually making it in front of them.
Right.
Also, I
There's
think
like,
producing with the artist in the room is the best because like they write, as you know, you play some chords like that sounds good.
Yeah.
Like
start
make
writing.
the beat with them and they're kind of more invested in it.
Oh, for
because
sure.
they have they're like involved, you know, like they feel ownership because they helped produce.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
like
They're
a
like,
part
oh,
of the process.
what if we did
Right.
this?
Yeah.
What if we did what if we made this type of sound? Blah blah
Right.
blah. You know, and you try to do it, and then they fuck with it because they helped make it.
It doesn't add any layer of like pressure on you though.
There's always like.
Or is
a
that always
I mean, it's
there.
but probably like the first time you're in a
if they're
session
in the
with a
room,
new
yeah,
artist.
yeah.
But like once you like create a relationship with these people, it's
That's
just like
fine.
having another friend around or something, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Right.
That's fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean this is kind of the reason we wanted to do this is, you know, we get to give people a more intimate look at what it's
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
people don't fucking know.
Behind the curtain, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Because
And you never know, man. Like, you know, like you could be in with someone, and for example, so like I was working with Aluna from like Aluna George, right?
Yeah,
Wow,
nice.
I love her.
So I'm thinking
Shout
in
out
my
to
head,
her.
I'm like, okay, there's some DJ Snake type banger shit, you know?
right.
Yeah.
So I would have sent that type of shit, but when I got in with her, it's like she's trying to make a different type of vibe, and you do that, but it's like one of those things where it's like you never know until you're with her,
Exactly.
you know?
Wow.
Like I would have sent
Mhm.
a completely
sense.
different thing than what
Right.
she wanted.
She just was
Yeah.
trying to catch a vibe. I get what
Yeah.
you're saying.
Bro, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Do
Yeah,
you
sure.
feel that right now, especially with like where the music's at, it's a saturated market of producers, or do you think it's like drying out? Do you think like there's too many producers, or do you think there's like not enough?
No,
right
I
now?
think there can never be enough
Producers.
like, art in general.
Right,
Like
okay.
the more dope shit that's out there, the better. We
Right.
can't like. There's no disadvantage to having more dope shit.
Right.
At
I
the
mean,
end
there's
of
a
the
lot
day.
of producers, but then there's like a much
The thing
smaller
is-
like handful of the ones that are actually doing it,
But the thing is,
and the
when there's
ones that are
more
like
producers,
making the best stuff. So
Right.
I
Right,
mean,
right.
it kind of like it's almost, I don't know, it's almost like you're sorry, I'm trying to.
When there's more
articulate this here.
producers, there's more
I'm trying-
pressure
hold
to
on.
make doper shit. You know what I'm saying? Like if there's more
That's what-
people,
that's what I'm trying to say,
yeah,
bro.
If there's,
I'm
if
saying
there's
it's
more
like-
people trying to get the same goal, there's more pressure for you to like be even.
It's
doper.
healthier
It's
competition
pushing the
and-
fucking the bar of like,
Yeah.
if you want to do this full time, like the minimum you have to be good is
If
like
you want to
it's
be
gonna
like
higher
a
and higher.
professional,
Yeah.
like not amateur, you're gonna have to step your fucking game
Step your
up.
fucking
Yeah.
game up.
That's
yeah.
it. Like your level is gonna have to go up. Your shit's
Yeah.
gonna have to get hotter. You're gonna have to take it more serious.
Yeah.
You get
And
what I'm
there's
saying?
always a way. This is what I love about producing and making music is there's always some way you can benefit yourself. Like there's
Yeah.
days where I'm like, if I'm being lazy, I don't have anything to do. It's like, oh shit, well I could watch this piano lesson. I could become better. Like that could only
Yeah.
improve.
Better, yeah.
That
Exactly.
could only improve. I could
Even-
watch this singing lesson. So I
even
could,
learning
like,
how to use new gear and shit. Cause
Yeah.
that, like
exactly. I could watch this video about this fucking this new plugin and learn how to use
yeah,
this
word.
shit.
Right,
like
right.
Find some secrets.
let's talk about that. Like the part about producing that nobody knows how many fucking plugins and programs
Oh,
and
right.
wires and shit
Holy
that goes into
those are
it.
really
like-
like the tools.
It's
you
like
know?
it's every studio setup
Yeah.
and everything is like different. It's like
And-
its own engine.
And it's
right?
crazy
Oh,
because
yeah.
it'll inspire because you'll think like, say you had a session and last minute change, all of a sudden you're at a different studio. It's like, even though you're with the same people, same day, same time, if you were in that studio, you probably would have been a different
It's
song.
different. Yeah, exactly.
It's like you can never guess how these tiny variables are gonna impact the end result.
Right.
But like someone that's there wasn't there. It
Yeah.
might have had a different song. Like it's
Right.
so crazy how like butterfly effect.
No, yeah,
Studio
and
it's
vibes,
fucking deep.
very important.
It's fucking
That
deep.
is
Yeah,
deep
no,
as
and like
fuck.
our friend Foster, he had actually said this one time, and I thought it was it just made so much sense to me. Basically, that like a lot of these, like it's 2019 now. Like you're saying, all these different plugins, all these different drum kits. It's like everybody has
Everything.
access to
Everything.
everything. Like
Right.
oh, we
Right.
all have all the same
Right.
sounds, all this stuff.
Yeah.
So that's like it's cool because then it really shows like who's at the top of their game,
Yeah.
who's
Right.
making that into like a great
It's like,
product. You know
because
what I
this
mean?
is the thing. This is the thing. If you were doing film, for example, right?
Right.
If say I'm like this kid and I'm like like from a middle class family and I want to make movies, there's like kind of the gateway where I can never make a movie that's gonna look like that because I have to have a fucking $50,000 camera.
Right.
But with music, you can get the same software, you can
Yeah.
crack the same auto tune, you can
Mhm.
get the same
Wait, I was
plugins.
gonna ask you
The
something.
tools are accessible.
So I
Exactly.
got a question. I was hearing now. I'm like, about in the producer world, they can find out if you produced the song with cracked plugins, and they can get you
Wow.
for
I haven't
like
heard about
copyright. So
I know.
like,
I know. There's one video,
Well-
super funny YouTube video where Carnage is showing like his process of how he produced a song, and then like he opens up his Silent, which is like a VST
yeah.
plugin,
Yeah.
and they like it was a crack, and then I saw like the makers of Silent like tweeting at him. They're like, oh yeah, we see that's a crack. Do you want a
Cracked
lawsuit?
version.
Like. But that's like
Damn.
I don't know I don't know any other way that
If they could
that they would
trace
be
it
able
from
to
the
figure it out.
MP3 or the-
Yeah,
or
like,
the
Well,
wave
well, I
or-
mean, I guess
Besides,
it makes
like,
sense because they
seeing
can
it.
see. Yeah,
Right.
but couldn't they just be like,
upload
couldn't
it
they
from
be
the
like,
IP
oh,
address or something?
this guy Adam produced this song. We don't have any license for.
That's
the
what I'm
name.
saying.
This is
That's what they
clearly-
could do is they could be like, okay, this is obviously our sound,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, but
But you never know.
Like,
You
show
never
us your
really know.
receipt.
This
Did
is
you buy
right.
it? You know,
Right.
like
It's fishy. It's a
The verification.
It's a
Yeah.
bit much for them to do.
Yeah.
That's a bit much. I think that's a push. I think it's kind of like, I also like if you're in that situation, it's kind of good because that means you have.
That
a
means
hit.
that something's going
That
on.
means you
That
have a
means your
hit.
song
That
is
means
big
you
enough
got
for them
the-
to.
Yeah, they're doing research.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I always say. Is if you're gonna get sued for something in music, like it's a good thing because
Yeah.
your song must be big enough to where they want to sue
Someone
you.
cares.
There's a dude
Yeah.
in a suit somewhere
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
angry. So
yeah, the
that's
lawyers,
a good
man.
thing.
Come on, these lawyers, they get paid big money.
Yeah,
like,
bro. That's what I'm
ooh,
saying.
they're definitely gonna come for their check. There's
Shout
like
out my lawyers, PMP firm.
Shout out the lawyers.
Shout out to the lawyer.
Yeah,
Boys.
head over to PMP firm. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not doing a commercial.
And
Yeah.
then that's
Fortunately,
a,
being
that's the important part of the music business that people need to know about, like having a lawyer and have people have your business together.
Your paperwork. Yeah.
Oh.
You
Oh,
will
absolutely.
get hustled for your
Well,
publishing.
Well, and people
Mm-hmm.
don't realize that everything is really negotiable. Like you'll think you'll start something, and you end up somewhere completely different. That
Yeah.
it's like they might offer you something that you're like fuck that, and you like want to not fuck with them, but you never know. At the end of the day, when you're done negotiating, it might be this crazy like
Right.
bomb deal.
That's true.
And you know, you just always know your value, I feel like, and like never sell yourself
Never.
short. And I think the thing is, like, at the end of the day, you just gotta make sure that you like can support your lifestyle, you know? Like,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
like I feel like sometimes people doing it for, you know, I want to use a better word. Let me see. People doing it for like, oh, the notoriety. They kind of fucking the game up a little bit. Like, this is a business we're running right here. Just like everybody who's putting the song out, they're gonna get a piece. So like, you should definitely get your part.
Yeah, well,
You know
that's
what I'm
the
saying?
problem with the music industry is that the standard is fucked up. Like, that's the
Right.
thing. They're like, oh, well, the baseline is like all like it's normal to get fucked over. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
right.
saying?
That's
Like,
literally
take it, like,
yeah,
bend over.
because so
take it.
welcome
many-
to being a producer.
Now you
you
got
got
it,
it,
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
So
normal
You
to
got
be
that
like,
out of the way.
Yeah.
it's normal.
It's
to,
like, are you fucking
dude?
kidding
It's
me?
like normal to have someone
The
be like, oh, I'm
artist is
gonna
out
take
performing the
half
song.
of everything
Yeah.
you do. And that's just it, you know what I mean?
And that's what
So
it is.
We need to change the baseline.
Yeah.
What is normal?
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
and we have the power because we're the ones making the art. You know,
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
You're
like,
bringing life to words.
yeah.
So
But the thing is,
otherwise
sometimes
it's just
you're in a situation,
acapellas.
but
Right.
But the
over
thing
and
is,
over and over.
you can't get mad because sometimes people are in a situation, you know, where like they might have like, I don't know, they have like a family to support, and it's like, you know, someone
Sure.
comes and it's like, oh, I'll give you this check for 50,000, and maybe it's not the best terms, but maybe you need that to survive.
We
for the
need that
next
50,000
years.
right now.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's all
Yeah.
situational. If you're in a
Salary.
situation where
Yeah.
you can have the luxury,
If you can hold out,
if you can
then
have the
hold out.
luxury of
Right.
supporting yourself and not taking the back, at the
Yeah.
end of the day, just, you know,
Don't
make
get, but
yeah.
if you do get in that situation, just make sure you get yourself out. Have a plan to get yourself out.
Yeah,
of that.
exactly. Like it's not the worst thing if you end up okay. You
Yeah.
signed a bad deal. It's like okay, just ride out these 2 years
You understand?
and don't make
honestly,
that mistake again. Learn. You
There's
know,
no such
Yeah.
thing as an L. I call it a lesson. So it's
Yeah.
like, boom, shout out to learning
Yeah.
a lesson
Facts.
because
That's
in life
facts.
it's trial and error. So you're gonna run into a bunch of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just know, make it out your life. Wipe that shit
Yeah.
off. Keep pushing.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
the way.
Well, actually, I had a fucking to pivot away from lawyers. I had another like producer related question.
Okay.
Do you guys know, like, in terms of, because I know there's like thousands of different ways to make a beat. Like, I know there's people that fucking crate dig and sample, and there's people that do shit originally. Like, have you guys had any experience with like producers that sample heavy or crate dig? Like, how do you feel about? Do you guys do that yourselves?
I think it's fire. I think that like it's super fire. Like some amazing.
If you can
legendary
make crazy
songs
sample beats,
Right.
like,
Because
it's
the
some of the
thing is,
best shit.
it's kinda like an
but-
art
Because this
form,
is the thing.
right?
It goes back
Yeah.
to selling your taste because you're
Right.
putting people onto this song. So people might be like, it's like you're like, yo, this part of this old soul song is so fire. The rest of the world needs to appreciate this.
Yeah.
And if you
Yeah.
put it in that frame, people can appreciate it. And it's like you're selling your taste. It's like, I love this so much. And you're kind of taking that moment, what you love. You might
Yeah.
hear it and you're like, oh my God, I need to sample that. That's so
Right.
fire.
Yeah.
So you're taking that moment, you're packaging it, and you're fucking really just sharing it with the world.
Yeah.
So I
Right.
love it.
Yeah.
I don't do it a lot.
No,
but
same.
I love
We
it.
don't. We both don't do it a lot because it's in the end of the day.
It's a pain in the ass
sampling
to
stuff
clear.
you can
You have to
exactly.
clear
It's a pain in
everything.
the
It
ass.
means you have to clear
The
it.
business
Yeah.
actually gets in the
So-
way
Exactly.
of you
I think-
doing it.
But I do love it, and like
You
as
like
far
doing
as
it
even
for-
when I was
yeah.
just making beats like for fun and
Right.
wasn't a career or whatever, like
Right.
I would definitely sample more than. And if still to this day, if I hear something, I'm like, I need to sample this, I'm gonna do
Right.
it.
Yeah.
But like, it's easier to get away with something that we made fully original.
At
No
home.
one's
Because
gonna
at the
come
end of
after
the
you
day- at
for
the end
it.
of
You
the
know?
day, you might
Right.
sample
Yeah.
it and it might be fire, and if it's fire enough, you might be okay. How can we replace it? Like like it's still setting the vibe, and then maybe you replace it. Maybe someone replays it. Maybe you find a way
yeah.
around it.
I honestly think sampling should be like free, like honestly, because it's recycling the art. It's making your
It's
art
keeping it
fresh
alive
again.
in a
like,
lot of ways. in a lot of
Exactly.
ways.
It's
I mean, yeah,
bringing-
especially if you make it your own. Especially if you're not just like directly
Yeah.
ripping the exact
Yeah.
like okay, this section of this song and just pasting it there. But no, if you're pitching it, you're maybe speeding it up, slowing it down. I
Yeah.
feel like I hear you, man.
Well,
I hear
there's
ya.
there's like the fucking app that made Lil Nas X famous was TikTok.
TikTok,
And TikTok
right.
has DJ shit on there. And there was some DJ that was sampling a Sam Cooke song over and over. I forgot, it was an old Sam Cooke song from like 58 or 63 or something. Yeah. And I love Sam Cooke. You know I'm a Sam
Yeah.
Cooke sucker. So I heard that and I was like, wait a second. How the fuck did that dude get away with that? Because there has to be some kind of thing he had to pay for. Like, he was just echoing Sam Cooke samples.
Well, also
over and over.
the thing is too, like,
It's like-
no one's gonna stop you from releasing it. Like,
Right.
you can have shit out,
Right.
and
but-
then it'll be out
Yeah.
until someone gets mad about
Yeah,
it.
it's going
slaps
back
on
to
the
that
wrist,
same thing.
yeah.
It's
So
like
you just
once
wait
if
for it to
it
build.
gets
Whoever's
noticed,
representing
then
Sam
you're
Cooke
good.
isn't hip to TikTok. You know what I'm
Or-
saying?
Yeah,
Like-
so he's getting away with it.
Or-
Right.
or they waiting for that shit to grow legs, and then they're gonna
Yeah.
come for you. Like
That's,
that's
yeah, but then you're honestly winning still. That's what
'Cause
like we
people
had
are
just
looking,
talked about.
yeah,
It's like
yeah.
okay, if
But
you're getting sued for
at
that,
the
then
end
your
of the
song's
day,
big.
the art still lives. You can't unhear it.
Yeah, and it's a win-win. It's a win-win. It's more money in the person you're sampling. It's more. I mean, how many stories, like, you know, everyone hears about the Juice WRLD and Sting getting so much percentage of that song. Like, he's probably more happy about it than pissed off. He's getting like plaques and fucking checks.
The same thing happened to, speaking of fucking Lil Nas X, is that Old Town Road thing was a Tool sample.
Was
no way.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that.
He got in trouble.
No, it was the guitar was sampled.
Hurdy.
Okay. This is her. Okay.
All right, we got Hurt
This
Boy
is her
here.
was pulling through.
Oh, okay.
Should I answer this?
You can take the call, yeah.
Okay. You guys keep on.
That raw shit, man.
Yeah, we got, speaking of which, so we will have Hurt Boy in the studio for another producer series. In the meantime. But, we should definitely.
Some candy in this thing.
A little more candy,
Anybody that want to send us candy, we're gonna,
I'm sure
we're going to start putting like a P.O. box or something, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, you can shoot candy to us. I think it's crazy to think about, you know, even like Kanye. Like, think about his, like, all the albums that cracked him. Like, they all had crazy samples.
Oh, yeah.
All of Kanye's shit was, like, built on crate digging and, like,
Yeah.
playing old fucking samples
he's
over
like,
and over.
He's with him with the MPC is legendary. It's
He's
one of
like-
the craziest
that's
things I've
a-
ever seen, man.
Oh, man.
That, like, made me want to start making beats, watching
That's what I was
videos of
gonna
him
say.
do that.
That shit, all that, even older boom bap type shit, it probably served as inspiration. You know what I mean? Like, it probably
But
paved a lot of the way.
I watched, like, I went to a Sunday service one time.
Oh, you went?
Yeah.
That's
Yo,
cool.
the one scene where he does the Chicago house break.
Okay, so
that,
wait,
bro.
the craziest part, I watched it and I'm thinking to myself, like, he's like the coldest DJ ever, but to see him do it with live people, because it's like a choir of like, I think 150 people. And when I went to go see, it was only like 80 people, but the way he controlled this shit, it was like live producing, like with live.
So Quincy Jones, Quincy Kanye.
No plugins, but like real sounds, like bring this down and all this mad shit. I was so amazed with it was such a vibe up there. Like, shout out to Sunday service, and if you haven't gone and seen one, you need to go see one.
I definitely want to see one.
That's
man.
a super vibe.
Bro,
it touched me in that piece.
Bro,
I ain't
he's
even
the
gonna
only
lie.
person from that era that's like, you know what I mean? Like, that's like so relevant still.
We were
like,
just talking-
crazy.
yeah.
Like, bro,
He
I
is.
give it. I feel like I really care if he drops some shit.
But
like,
he
I'm
never-
gonna listen to it. I
Me
fuck
too.
with
He
all the
knows.
shit
He
puts
knows
out.
how to navigate the
I don't
game,
wanna
though.
sound
He's
like
a, he's a
Kanye
pro. He's
Stan, but he never drops
absolute
shit.
pro.
Yo,
Yeah.
Even when people
I mean, he
didn't
got
fuck
stepped
with
on
it.
his whole beginning of his career. You know, he made it out. He's bigger than all those fools who stepped on him.
Yeah.
He always made fire though, because everybody thinks that, what was it, Yeezus,
Yeah.
which was like the silver CD.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
That was
one.
fire.
Yeah,
Nobody-
amazing,
yo,
man.
the sounds
Fire.
that he's doing on there, like fire.
it's
That had a lot of
relevant.
crazy.
It was
That's
very
the thing.
progressive
It's
too. You
relevant.
think about that
Yeah.
still lives today.
Yeah.
Like that would fly. Coming out tomorrow. You
That
know?
one had a lot of original production too.
Bro, it was
Yeah, a
crazy.
lot
Like,
less sampling.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
wasn't
It was
like
just-
college dropout
it was
and fucking
like Send It Up, like, oh, that was fire. Like, even
Right.
that joint with Chief Keef, like that,
That was like right when he
was
met
crazy.
Travis, though. Then I feel like that
Can't
fool
Hold My
Travis
Liquor,
had
I
some
think.
inspiration.
Yeah.
So
on that.
good.
Yeah.
That's a
Fire.
great one.
Yo,
Oh.
those are fire ass
That's a
songs.
great song. We should listen to that after this.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
we're
very-
gonna find it up.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, well, that's what. Yeah, JG and I were just talking about that when you went to talk to Hurt. That basically, Kanye built his career primarily on like crate digging early on,
Oh yeah.
and doing all that sampling
You're-
and
Dude, you just you hear a moment and you see the vision and you're like, this could be crazy.
Yeah.
If I do this, and that, and then you do it, and boom, bang.
But it's still, but
Yeah.
even right now in music, like a lot of production, like they're bringing back a lot of 90s samples, like
Well, yeah, even fucking like the what's
early
that?
2000s,
Like-
like My Type, all that
No,
shit.
for
Yeah.
sure. For sure.
Yeah, like it's all getting recycled. I feel like it's a little
Yeah.
early in the game. So
There's
I don't
that.
know
What's
what-
that? I don't know if it's
People
City Girls
like
or
what
Meg
they're
Thee
familiar
Stallion
with,
or one of
you
those
know?
bad
Yeah,
bitch rappers.
someone- yeah.
It's like that fucking old school.
No, for
fucking-
sure.
Yeah,
shit
that
is
was like I'll Be Sure on that Big Old Freak.
Yeah.
So far.
it's
Yeah,
crazy.
but no, people like what they're familiar with. People like,
Right.
especially like even I remember
Nostalgia.
my mom telling me about like this like, oh yeah, have you heard that the Juice WRLD song with the Sting sample in it because she knew the Sting sample, so she like
Sting, yeah.
she's like I
Sting
love that
fire.
song.
Yeah.
Yo,
It's like you know,
Yeah, it's Sting is
Fire.
fire. Yeah, I agree.
And the Police, fire.
But
That's
the
fire.
police also
Fire.
fire. I agree.
All that's fire, bro. I'm telling you, a couple nights ago, I was watching Rage Against the Machine music, not music videos, but like show
tour?
videos.
Oh,
Like a HBO special type
No. I was just watching just recordings
YouTube
from
clips,
like,
right?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
YouTube clips like of like their sets.
Yeah.
And it was like 1997 or 99 or
Wow.
some shit. And I'm like watching it. I'm like caught the vibe so crazy.
Yeah.
So
And I was like,
inspired.
Have you
bro,
seen them
like,
live, Louis?
No, I never seen them live.
At
but I was
Coachella.
like, bro, seeing like these bands that you grew up on. like now that I work in the music industry, like reflecting back, I'm like, they're so cool.
I have
Like,
a-
It's so much more
good.
impressive now
Bro,
that you like.
it's so
you know,
much
you're like,
more
oh my
impressive.
god, like.
have you ever seen, like, now you saying you're in the business, have you ever saw somebody or work with somebody and you kind of like fanned out, like, oh shit, like this is real life shit, like
The only
oh, like-
person I found out on ever was with Future, and I was just like, I was working with this dude that like he's like, I guess he signed to him. This dude Time, shout out Time, he's fire.
Shout out Time.
And then yeah, so like Future was obviously pulled up to the sessions, and I was with Hurt. Shout out to Hurt.
Big shout out.
Yeah, Hurt has like his, you know, his own relationship with Future. So like it was tripping me out because like, you know, Future's sitting there, he's like telling me about her. He's like, man, he's like, hey, man, I heard the first person to bring me to LA, man. Like, he's like, yo, heard you got
That's a great
daughter.
story.
I'm like, yeah. He's like, what's your daughter's name, dog? He's like, Penny.
Penny.
It's beautiful, dog. I was just tripping out, bro. It was so fire.
You just couldn't believe it, huh?
It was so fire.
Yeah.
What about you, JG?
I mean, Chief Keef. That was like,
Okay,
that
yeah,
was
yeah.
like, bro, that was
Because-
like my favorite artist.
definitely birthed a lot of this, a lot of these
Yeah,
new
but when
young
I
niggas.
was actually,
Yeah.
and also like I said, I've said this, working with certain artists, like when you get in the room with them, like I guess
Right.
you have this like expectation, right?
Right.
And then
Right.
and then like it's like I'm not saying that. I don't know. Sometimes it's not. It's like you see that like their whole process, and you're like, oh, you know what? Like I expected this to be crazier.
It
Chief
didn't meet
Keef,
your expectations.
that was
Yeah.
like
It met
everything I
you thought
expected
about.
plus more. I was like, bro, this fool is crazy. Like,
That's a fucking cheat.
Shout out
yeah.
to Key. Shout out
Damn.
to
I
Key.
was like, man.
Dude, that is
Yeah.
that's crazy.
He's like one of the first like young rappers to come to LA and like run the streets of LA. Shout out to him, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Coming
Yep.
to a new environment and then getting in the streets. Like,
Oh,
I,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just how crazy
Yeah,
it
he's
is.
like-
energy, bro. Chief Keef was that fucking energy. Like you fucking
Yeah.
put on like,
Bro, he birthed like all these new rappers and
that's-
all that.
Yeah. Sure, bro.
Bro, how many
opened it
how
up.
many fools
Yeah.
are busting out the Chief Keef fucking pose, fucking Truies,
Yep.
fucking hand like holding dick, like fucking sitting on the
Word.
block, like going like this,
He's like a legend, like
bro, yeah.
Bro.
like a Soldier
He
Boy
is a
type
legend.
piece. Like Soldier was still a legend too, definitely.
That's
Soldier
true.
too for sure, bro. He really birthed a lot of the shit that's going on right now.
The
Oh,
YouTube
yeah.
wave,
He's
like
the-
for real.
yeah.
I think he's like one of the like first
That
people
shit
to
is
start
something, man.
monetizing.
Yeah, he doesn't. He
YouTube.
really doesn't get the
Yeah.
credit too either, like that.
Yeah,
like, he
man.
really.
Shout
That's
out to
true.
Soldier, bro.
Even when he
Honestly,
was
I
doing
was
it
a big
then,
Soldier
like, you
fan.
know?
I was a big Soldier fan, I have
What?
to say.
He had that fire.
You were
Yeah.
big or wasn't?
Was.
Oh, was.
We
Okay.
saw Soldier Boy perform.
Yo,
at,
we saw Soldier
in
Oh my God,
February
no
at this
way.
Grammy after party, bro. That fool.
Yo,
was
he
crazy.
did. Yeah, he turned up
snapped.
at the
It
Grammy
was-
after
yeah,
party. Soldier
yeah.
Boy went in. Yeah, we
Shout out to
He's-
Soldier.
we was
Shout
in
out
play
to-
class.
the
When that new
hills.
Drip song came out, that like that,
Yo,
his.
he had some fire, man. Like,
Yeah, Soldier was killing.
speaking of producing and all that, cause didn't he used to make a lot of that shit?
Oh,
if I'm
yeah,
not mistaken.
He
Yep,
made
yeah, yeah.
fucking
He made all that
Crank
first
That.
shit.
Did he make Crank That?
All that first
Yeah.
shit.
Oh,
He
he
made-
did. Yeah, that's true.
He, you know,
Bro,
get that ringtone.
That was
money.
my ringtone.
He has a crazy
I'm telling
story.
you, dude.
Yo, you want to
Too.
know about talking about ringtones, bro? I had my most cringe ringtone. I think was the boss. I'm bossy. I'm the
I'm
best
done. Why was that your
Yeah.
ringtone?
Even though that was
Was
a-
that your-
was that-
Bro,
Was
I
that
had that
your-
ringtone in the 8th grade.
Was
that
that your
for real?
ringtone or your ring back tone?
No, that's my ringtone.
Oh,
Ring
okay.
back. That was a horrible.
You
Yeah.
went crazy. You went
That was
crazy if you had a
insane.
ring back. You
Was
had that
one with the
Verizon life.
violins? Like
Oh,
the
yeah.
standard
Oh
one
my
if you
God.
don't change it?
Dude, I remember I had one of my ex-girlfriends way back, like high school. I called her and her ringback tone was this fucking it was an Usher song. I can't remember what
You
it
got you
was.
mad horny every
No,
time you
no,
call
I
her?
was just always upset because it was just like it was not like I'd be mad at her,
Yeah,
you
was
know?
it yeah?
And I'd be calling her, yes, and I'd be angry at
fire
her,
beat.
and I'd be thinking in my head like, all right, I gotta fucking, I gotta confront her
Usher is
about
fucking
this shit,
serenading
and then it
you
would
in
be
your
like this
ear.
Usher banger in my ear nonstop.
You're like, okay.
And I was like, come on, yeah.
Hey,
it,
Kevin.
it would
your bitch
actually
come
kind of
sleep with
mellow
me
me out
tonight.
sometimes. Yeah.
You're like, all right, let's rethink.
They're like, all right,
this.
let's.
Yo, what up, Kevin? It's Usher. Yo, bitch, fucking with me tonight.
Yeah, he's like,
baby.
it's cool, baby, and I'd be like,
you
you
just
know
gonna
what?
take a back seat tonight.
Yeah.
Yo,
I mean,
shout
hey,
out though, like ringtones. Do y'all remember ringtones?
Yo.
Or think
Bro,
about.
you heard my
Hold on.
ringtone. You know I'm buzzing out that
Yeah.
future.
He's still coming with
But
that.
think about.
ringtones are fire.
Okay, as far as like ringtones and like original TV music and all that shit on the
Uh-huh.
production side, there's a motherfucker right now probably driving a Ferrari off of making like original TV music
Oh,
and like,
oh,
for
for
sure.
They catch you
like,
out.
don't sleep
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Do
get
not
those sync
sleep
checks,
on
get those
those,
sync
on those
checks.
other
Yeah.
checks.
Yeah.
All right.
Theme songs. Oh my
Get
All
god.
that
video
type
game
of
money,
shit.
get
I
that
remember
Grand Theft
having a
Auto.
ringtone like before you could put like the actual song on it.
Sidekick.
I had
Right.
the dirt off your shoulders, like the mobile tone one. You know, it's like dee 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 dee. That's like
Imagine that dude who reproduced that on that shit.
I
Do you
know,
think he
that-
got
I
bugged?
remember that. Yeah, that's true.
I always say like imagine if the man who created the iPhone text message sound got royalties every time someone
Oh
got a
my
text.
God. Yo, that's a good one.
You know?
Oh my
Who did
god.
that sound design? What's that?
Yeah.
Omnisphere? that sounds like some
That's
Nexus.
some
Oh my god. That is fucking crazy when you think about it.
crazy.
Have you guys dabbled with that, like in terms of doing
Like
audio
game
for
production.
television?
I mean,
game?
I mean, I did the
Euphoria.
shit, but like that
Yeah.
was like a song that we made with the artist before. It was like
Right.
it was just a rap
It
song.
was
and
for
then
a
they
tape,
picked it up.
right?
Was it? Yeah, it was for Lil
Lil
Dude's
Dude, yeah.
his project last November.
Right.
Yeah, shout out Hurt and Foster on the beat with me.
Shout out. Yeah,
that
that'll
shit's
be a good
fire.
story too. Actually.
I went to my college degree is for film.
Right.
So in school, educated over here.
yeah.
So
Went
in
to film school?
yeah. So
crazy.
like, so in school, I did like do sound for like my own shit, and like I think I did it like once or twice for some other people too, and it was fun. It's really dope. There's actually a fire documentary
Yeah.
called Score.
Like
That is
Hans
fire.
Zimmer,
Yeah,
like
like
crazy
that.
like
Hans
that,
Zimmer,
bro.
that shit is fire. Like
He's
they
crazy.
turn up. It's a whole nother animal than
Right.
music.
Yeah.
I feel like for me personally, I connect with like sound. If I hear some sound and it just like makes me feel some shit, that's fire. Whether it be in a movie, a
Right.
song, whatever. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Even
Yeah.
in nature, sometimes you might just be you step outside and like the birds chirp and the wind blows and the fucking Lay's bag just wrinkles away and you're like, oh
You're like,
shit,
that's hard.
You just hit the hash pan and you're like, that's a vibe.
Yeah, the other
Like,
the other day I drove into
nice
my
day.
garage and like I remember I had a water bottle and like I had my windows open and I like put the water bottle down and like this crazy reverb came from like the noise and I was like, yo, how do I record this?
Yeah.
It's like producer
when-
problems.
Word.
Yeah, right?
Imagine having to get sounds like that. Like,
Yeah.
go get a mic. Go get a mic.
Hey.
Like,
Yeah.
Ready?
You have to. I mean,
Yeah.
because you think about people like right now. There's like Oscar buzz because of Joker from Todd Phillips.
Yeah.
And that film, it's largely because of the score. Like they were saying, the music to
Bro,
the film
that makes
was
a huge difference. Like, have you seen? There's a movie called Good Time,
yeah.
and it's like Robert Pattinson's in it, but it's like a dope like indie movie. But
Yeah,
that
yeah,
shit- One of Tricks Point Never is the guy that did the music. He's like some super experimental guy, but it's like sells it. Like, you just make the vibe, and the
Word.
fucking what you see looks like what you hear,
Right.
Yeah.
and it just sounds
Have
fire.
you ever
that-
seen a movie without music? It changes
awful,
the whole
yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Where you know
Yeah,
what
it's
you
not
know
a
what
movie.
show series did that? Stranger Things. The
Stranger
reason why
Things,
that
exactly,
was
bro.
the reason why
Oh,
that
yeah,
show
yeah.
was so fire was because
It sets the mood.
suspense that it built up for you.
Yep.
Were like, oh shit! And then once the second
Oh,
season
Yeah, the
came
This shit
out,
soundtrack
sound
for that
creepy.
was crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
see, like-
For sure.
I was
That
like,
like
this is crazy.
synthwave 80s
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah,
That's-
exactly.
yeah.
They killed it.
They got it spot on the money.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yo, that whole
Yeah.
setup, like everything that
No,
went
they
along
killed
with
it.
that, like the thought process,
I think that shit is so cool.
the
Like to be
idea,
able to do that
execution.
Yeah.
is fucking fire, man.
100%.
Imagine if they thought, you know how you always kind of judge your work. Imagine if they were like, this shit is whack, and everybody thinks that shit is fire. Like the personal people, they're like, man, this shit is cool. Like, you know, we barely did it. Like,
doubting
oh
themselves.
shit. Like,
Yeah.
oh wow.
I feel that because I feel like as people make any artist, if you're making paintings, drawings, movies, whatever, you're always gonna hate I've always said you're always your own worst critic.
Yes,
Mhm.
that's
Like
true.
no one's gonna bug on the details, and also no one's gonna notice the details as
Yeah.
much
Right,
as
as
you.
much as you.
Like if I
Yeah.
listen to a beat or a song that I worked on,
You
it's like I notice every fucking part.
This
I'm like,
guy is the worst.
I'm like, oh
I'll tell
shit,
you, bro.
You kind of hear that little sound
Even
right
with criticizing
there,
you.
No,
Or
with
just
his own
himself.
stuff,
My own
bro.
shit.
I'm telling you, I'm like, yo, this is crazy. And he's like,
Right.
I don't know, man. I'm like, dude, like,
I
just-
feel like
you got to step outside of
I
it
don't
at a
know,
certain
man.
point and realize that
Because,
most
yeah.
people would fucking love it.
I feel like
Right.
there's two type
Yeah.
of fire producers.
But that's what makes you
Yeah.
really your best, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, yeah.
Is being that critical.
You're
Yeah.
because you care. You
Perfectionism.
care. You know, someone cares a lot. Like, you know, people can talk shit on Kanye, whatever, but when you hear his shit, it's like you can tell it changed so much because he cares so
It's
much.
polished because he.
You know what I mean? It's like I fuck with it when someone cares a lot. When someone's like, I
Yeah.
thought about this so much before I gave it to you. Like
Right.
I fuck with that.
Yeah,
I,
for sure.
I think there's two type of fire producers, like ones that are like, oh man, this shit's not fire, and their shit is low key fire, and there's other dudes like,
This
"Bother,
is the fucking
get-
slapper.
this shit slapping, like, and it's a slapper. Like sometimes
Feeling
people
themselves.
sell, sometimes they like sell
Yeah.
the beat. I feel like Kanye is one of those people where he
Yeah.
like sells the beat, like along, like he just like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
And on top of that, it's also
his body
fucking-
language.
yeah,
That's
like,
hilarious.
ooh,
Not
like,
only is it good, he'll get on the table and dance to it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and that shit matters too.
Yeah.
Sometimes like there's been
Bro, if
times
you
where I
don't
heard
like it, who's
something.
gonna like it?
Yeah.
There's
you
there's
gotta-
been times where I heard shit and wasn't like super sold on it, and then like my brother fucking will put me on some shit. Like I remember Sheck West specifically showing me some Sheck West,
Ooh, wow.
and like when I saw how I was like, oh okay, this is kind of fire, bro. Like this
Yeah.
is gas.
Yeah.
But like sometimes it takes that, like you gotta get that. You gotta be like, oh shit, like you can kind of get their perspective if someone fucks with some shit.
yeah,
100%.
You know, with some shit like that, like the new LA rap, like the Dracos and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
at first
yeah.
I was like, what is this? What is this? Like, why is he talking aggressive? And then like I was like, oh, this shit's fire. Like, they
Yeah,
hit you.
it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Or a different type of genre rap is like Detroit, like scam rap,
Scam rap,
slash
No, that's
Yeah.
scam rap shit
Hellcat.
is
Like they love
Yeah.
like in the D.
no
Yo,
cap.
Shout out TJ
no,
X6.
it's a freaking Hellcats, Dodgers.
Yeah.
bro. They're going
Hellcat,
crazy.
Hellcat.
Yeah, they like it's a madness, but they have like some fire bars, bro. Like at first it's
Yeah.
very unorthodox.
But it's like they got their own shit. That's why I think
Yeah.
it's tight when someone can go and like
It's
find
original.
their own niche, because it's like we got this genre, we got
Yeah.
rap, right? So
Yeah.
it's like, how can we make this feel fresh, feel
Yeah.
new, and how can you get your own identity?
and make it for your people. Like,
Yeah,
you
for
know what
your
I'm saying?
people, like it's just what it's about.
And then people in your area fuck with it. Like
Yeah.
that's crazy.
It's just so tight when you hear someone say some shit and you just relate with it, or like you like it's like when you watch a movie and some does some shit, you're like, oh, that's happened to me. That's fucking tight. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's just hard.
Well, first of all,
Resonates.
thanks to both y'all for pulling up for the producer series.
Man, thanks for having us.
We'll definitely have you back, obviously.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to tap in because we're going to have a ton of more of
Tap, tap.
these. How do we get people to follow you guys?
Blueysport at Blueysport.
At
I
Blueysport.
love that name. FYI.
At Beats
Yeah.
Ain't Free _JG.
JG.
It's an
All
easy
right.
one.
Beautiful. And do you guys have anything you're working on right now you want to get people
Shit,
ready for?
Yeah, man, I just been working on this fucking gas. Bro, shit is fire. It's about to fucking shit is gas.
Blow?
That's all I gotta
Blow?
say. It's about to blow.
All right, so keep your eyes out and follow Bluey. And JG, you got
It's that
projects you want to
invisible
plug?
shit. You know what I'm
man.
saying?
Nothing
Holy
really.
Beats.
Yeah, nothing. I mean, yeah. Shout out
For
Holy
sure,
Beats.
follow Holy Beats, yeah.
Shout
All
out
right.
Galen.
Shout out Galen.
I always
Yeah.
gotta shout out Galen.
Well, yeah, for sure. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for tapping in. Be
Tap,
sure to
tap.
subscribe, hit the button, hit
Follow
the bell.
tapped in.
Follow,
Don't play yourself.
don't
Follow
play
tapped
yourself.
in.
Stay tapped in,
Hey.
and we're tapping out.
Tap.
Thank
Follow
you.
that shit.
Out of here.
Fire.
They're tapping out while you're tapped in.